Mason here. I've been working on a project for a client that has been using Lead Sherpa for sending a whole lot of SMSs. Anyhow, he was curious on how he could pull his data out and do additional marketing to it. So what we did is we created an auto import rather than having to do the traditional mapping of it, and saw that he has almost 80,000 unique properties, and wanted to come up with different ways of marketing. So instead of the traditional list, like here, each one of these would be a list with 5,800 people on it, all of his list. So instead of having to map each one of these with the owner's first name, last name, mailing address, city, zip, property address, phone numbers, emails, etc., it took 9 minutes to import all 80,000, and we, of course, re-verify all the addresses so that we can see whose direct mail or the vacancy changes. So with that, the first thing that we saw was when we ran a no phones check against what he's currently got in there, we came up with 3,500 properties that didn't have phone numbers. So that means that that's his first target. He wants to send direct mail to those people because he's, obviously wants to market to them. The other thing was, as soon as we started looking at tag score, we could see that he's entered them in in Lead Sherpa more than one time. So we threw in some filters and saw that he had a handful of properties that came in 9, 10, 11 different times. So with that, we can now just filter out the ones that have had many entries or a tag score that's high, and run a list hydration on it to see see if the guy still owns the house. Inside our details tag, we also do skip tracing and can rerun the phone numbers to see if they're different from who previously owned the house. So that would be one fault with Sherpa, is you put data in it and then indefinitely just sit there and send messages to them even if they sell their house. If they don't respond, you don't know. Anyway, what he wanted also done is to automate the RVMs. So with our import, we can now set up an RVM campaign that sends everything on automatic. So we set up one ongoing campaign, and we purchased local phone numbers, etc. for it. And it's just pretty much you run it for a year, and what that means is once a month, everybody gets a message. So we roll the 6 different voicemails in sequence and shuffle each of the P1, P2, P3 numbers over a week, and just let it roll. So if you were to create a tag, any automation, we can go pull the Sherpa data in and automatically include it to the RVM campaign. The next thing that we're doing is adding the CRM default. So what that is if anybody ever calls in from the RVM, we can remove them from the RVM campaign. Also, if they end up going into Podio through direct mail or SEO or however they get into his Podio, we can also kill basically blacklist them from this initial campaign. It doesn't stop them from the whole system, it just makes it so that you can then target the blacklist tag later, like quarterly or however often you want to. So anyway, that's what we learned about just looking at Sherpa data and having it to where you can now send it to cold callers, direct mail, or RVMs. If you have any questions about automation, RVMs, or data, I'd love to chat. Thanks.